All right, Trevor, so before we actually demonstrate the swing, which I'm going to do in this video, I want to go over some important guidelines for it. So I want you to think less of the swing as an exercise and more as a skill, if that makes sense. And the reason for that is because really the swing is a tiny portion of bigger lifts, things like the snatch and the clean, and then variations of those things. And you need to practice it like a skill. The technique points I'm going to give you are just that. They're like technical points on timing and things like that. A lot of people focus on using the swing as an exercise, and you can swing various ways. There's different mechanics you can use. You can bend the knees more. You can hinge more. You can do something I call a pendulum, which is how we use it in competition. It's how we swing in competition. They're all effective for different reasons. And yeah, you can use it as an exercise and work on various things, but if you want to get better at it and you want to actually progress to other lifts, all right, you need to look at it as a component of bigger things. And the best way to do that is to think of it as, how can I do this efficiently so that I can then do these other things better? So no matter what you're trying to do, think efficiency, think of skill, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to show you the hinge swing, which is what I could tell when you demonstrated what you were doing is what you were asking about. The hinge swing, in that first video I showed you what a deadlift looks like or a hip hinge looks like. That's the motion of the swing you were trying to do, and that's what I'm going to go over in this video. So really quick, all right, if I'm trying to do a hinge, right, I'm going to move around my hips with a little bit of knee bend, not a lot of knee bend, because then I'm squatting, which you can also do, but we're going to try working with the hinge for now. All right, I think that's what you were really trying to accomplish. It's also the one that people say is the correct way, although there is no correct way. It depends on what you're trying to do. But anyway, so the hinge, you're moving around the hips. And again, you want to control your back. But here comes the important thing to think of. Whether or not you control your back perfectly with a hinge pattern doesn't mean it's not going to fatigue your back. The reason you might feel it in your back when you're swinging is probably more due to a timing thing. So let me demonstrate it real quick, and then I'll break the form down for you and explain what's going on, okay? So when I hinge swing, I'll show you from the side so you can see the hip action. I'm going to receive the bell with that hinge motion, all right? It's going to either dead end because my hamstrings will get tight, I'll get a stretch reflex here, or I'm going to stop it deliberately by tightening my glutes, my butt, and then I'm going to deliberately reverse the swing. So this is it. You see the hinge, you see all my joints lock. Knees, hips, both lock. The bell floats because I'm throwing it with my hips. In the front. All right, and from a diagonal, which is a nice position to view technique. Okay? So, all right, that's a hinge swing. That's probably what you were going for. Now, here's the important part. And this is the part that not everybody talks about, and even if they do, they don't necessarily get it right, okay? Just because I'm hinging well, just because my posture is perfect, all right, doesn't mean it's not going to fatigue my back. The issue with the swing and the skill I'm trying to get you to build here is you need to learn to not anticipate the bell, but rather move reactively by feeling the bell come to you. All right, so you can obviously see the bell is in front of you from the power that you've produced. It's floating. Now it's going to start coming to you. Here's the mistake everybody makes. And this is even like really good trainers, they make this mistake. The bell's out here, and now it's coming, and they decide to anticipate it and bend their hips. In other words, they're moving their hips too early. All right, if you want to protect your back, strengthen your core, strengthen your legs, just swing efficiently and properly like I explained, you need to wait for it to come to you. It coming to you doesn't mean you wait to fold till it's right here, right? Because you're still folding early. And you can see here, if I fold early, right, there's momentum here, there's a weight, it's moving quick. Its connection point is going to be in my upper back. No matter how late I wait, if I don't actually let my arms make contact with me and push into my hips, right, the connection point becomes up here. Gravity, dragging that bell, dragging on my arms, and my traps trying to support it. I don't care how strong you are, right? You can be the strongest guy in the world. You get something with momentum moving like that, it weighs a lot more than it says on the side. What happens, your connection point is here, your back's gonna get tired, this is a lever that physics is running ragged on, and your back's gonna light up because physically speaking, there's no possible way for you to do it without your back muscles doing work, unless you wait for it, okay? Here's waiting for it, like I demonstrated before. And I'll give you a side angle so you can kind of see here. All right, I produce force, I wait, then I move. So there's a lot of stillness before motion. Stillness, motion. Stillness, motion. All right? Even if I do this the slightest bit too early, I move my hips, I don't let my arms push my hips back, then I create disconnection. A bad connection point means I'm gonna be using energy that I don't wanna use. It's inefficient, okay? So here, let me show you bad connection. All right, it's floating, I bend early. That's really early. Look at that. Look at all that gap between me and the bell. Here's me doing it a split second too early. It looks good, doesn't it? But if you were to pause it, you'd see I'm getting a hip crease a moment before that thing comes to me. I need to feel it push. Feel it push. It hits me. It hits me, okay? You can pause it. You can do it with other people's videos. You can go and you can see they're gonna fold early most of the time in most demonstrational videos. You have to wait for it. It comes to you and then it pushes your hips back into position. Now your contact point is the front of your hips receiving momentum, all right, and you act reactively to reverse it. That's the way you swing. That's the skill you should be building, all right? Think less in terms of I'm working my legs, I'm working my core, or whatever. Try to build that skill set, okay? That's the thing you need to be practicing as a beginner. I'm gonna make you one more video, I think, talking about a couple other key points you can work on. But that's the essence. Practice that. And of course, you can send me questions on that if you have it. That's a lot to absorb if you haven't heard of it before.